Hello, this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in that. Since the day of John the Baptist, the kingdom of God has suffered violence, and the violent shall always take it by force. And if you're watching, I am Sandy J, and this is the Sandy J Show. So if you were on the test video or the test recording last week, Monday, you would see that we talked about some of the budget airlines that emerged out of COVID-19 situation where a lot of people lost their jobs and basically most of the jobs went more into contracting, even nursing jobs went into contracting. And so a lot of people, a lot of professionals had to travel to work. They had to travel from different states within the United States to provide services in fields that they work. And so through that, there were airlines that emerged out of that and to help these workers come into work. And we call them the budget airlines. To name a few, we have Spirit Airline, um, we have Frontier, and some of these airlines, to some point, people started realizing that they're not really as budget friendly as they seem to be because they have so many conditions that really does not serve. It doesn't serve the purpose of it being a budget airline. And when you put two and two together, you actually realize that at the end of the day, you are better off using the airline that will give you the best service and at the same time, provide like the best customer service and be respectful to you as a commuter. So I discussed, some incident that I personally had with Frontier Airline, where I had an extra luggage and I had to pay that extra luggage on site, and apparently they don't even have any connection with anything you do online, and so they charge extra high to the bags. And then I think I passed through TSA. When I went to TSA to get to the flight, they refused to allow me to enter the flight and they threw all my luggages out. People have had so many incidents. And with my incidents, I mean, like, I have tried to obtain my refund and called corporate several times and they have not refunded, and I'm still chasing them for that. And so we were talking about some of the abuse that we think that the aviation department in the United States and some of the governments need to look into some of these airlines and how they're operating and look at the abusive services that they are providing to the citizens of the United States and see how they can either put some sanctions or whatever on them or stop them from operation for a while because they feel like they are untouchable, and especially they do not have trained employees. It looks as if the employees themselves are contractors, but they behave as if they own the airlines and they are very abusive to commuters. And so, if you look at these other airlines, United, American Airlines, Delta, they don't do that to customers. And so I don't understand why these budget airlines, some of them feel like, they can do that to customers. I mean, to be frank with you, the last time that I went to Spirit, I was amazed. They have changed their customer service. I could not believe it. Their services had improved so much, and I believe that some people have addressed some of this issue, but Frontier needs, to me, I think Frontier needs to be bond. They don't have to operate until they really do something about their services. I think they should not operate at all because there are so many complaints about Frontier Airline in terms of commuter workers. But today I am supposed to have a special guest because I have a very interesting topic that I would like to bring up. And then if you were with me last week, I'm like, if you've had any situation with any airline, any of the budget airlines as a commuter worker that you'd like to share, you can always, contact us, call us in, and we would like you to share your experience live with us while I'm right here with you. And after our break, we are going to introduce the topic that I want us to really talk about today, which is also the fact that through this same COVID-19, which has changed a lot of things in the United States and I'm sure all over the world, um, a lot of women have seen the need to do their own thing, like basically have their own job, have their own, become like their own boss and their own entrepreneur. I mean, becoming your own boss has always been around, but right now, according to statistics, 55% of women right now who even have full-time jobs are also doing side hustle. And some of them, their goals, when we interviewed most of them, 83% of women in America say that they want to have their own business. They want to be their own bosses. And my point is this. So if you look in the corporate, okay, if you look in the corporate right now, about only about 15% of women get the chance to be promoted. Okay. But according to Harvard Business Review, men and women at workplaces basically during the day provide the same productivity. There's no difference between men and women production at workplace, according to the Harvard Business Review. So, how come that it's only about 4% of women who, when we look at the top CEOs who occupy those spaces, only about 4% of women who are CEOs of Fortune 500 businesses. So there's a problem, there's a big gap. And why are women, feeling like, it's about time that they look into doing their own thing? And even those who are working full time, 55% of them have side hustles. And those who don't know what side hustles are, they are like jobs that, they are like, they are jobs that they're doing, but they're not really making a lot of money to live on of it. And so they do it on the side outside of work. And most of the time, some of them try to hide it from their full-time job because sometimes it might be a conflict of interest. But that's the only way that they can survive. That's the only way these women can survive because some of them, sometimes the full-time job doesn't give them the opportunity for them to even be paid what they are worth. Okay. And then sometimes some of them don't even pursue certain positions because they know even when they apply, they are not going to give them those positions. So they don't even bother. There are women who have worked in places for like 20 years and they occupy the same positions and, they just don't bother. And some of these women, they have reasons why they are looking into entrepreneurship and they're looking into having their own business. But let's take a break And after the break, when we come back, we'll continue this topic. And if you have anything that you want to share, I'd like you to send us a message, or just call in. Or if you want to contribute to this topic, you can inbox me, and my production would send you a code, and you can join us live. Hello. So I did have um a guest today. I was supposed to have a guest today, but unfortunately, like I said, she had to be called into work, and so she's not able to be on right now. But we can still go on with this topic, and if you have any contribution, anything that you want to bring up with this topic, about the fact that a lot of women are currently looking into being their own bosses, having their own business. And the reason why they want to do that, many women have to do this. Some of them, they put family first. Some of them, they don't even have a choice with putting family first. For instance, every woman does not know how their bodies are going to react when they start having a family. So it's okay when you graduate from college and you have a dream that this is the career path that you want. Maybe you're not married yet. You've not given birth. You don't know how giving birth is going to be, especially if you look at statistics with Black women. There's so much complications with childbirth with Black women, and there's a lot of studies that we're doing why some of these challenges, some of them end up, most Black women end up having their babies prematurely. Premature babies can come with complications. They can come with birth defects, which is out of your control. And because of that, a lot of women sometimes they have to pay attention to some of the children. Some of them, if you have a child with a medical condition, no babysitter or no child care actually want to accept these children, because it's not because of anything, but because they don't want any legalities or anything involving their services, so they're not prepared, or most of them do not have the resources for some of these children to babysit them. And so these mothers sometimes are forced to either have some flexibility from their workplaces, or if they don't have that flexibility at the workplaces, then they will have to stay home to watch their children. And to stay home, nothing is coming in. Even if you want to apply for disability for your child, it doesn't just work, especially in America. There are so many criteria that your child has to fall into to qualify for you to get disability for your child. If some of their challenges is not really physical, it's very difficult to prove with Department of Disability that your child needs some kind of help with disability. So they don't easily approve disability if your child, let's say, have like something like some kind of disability with like maybe internal something like a chronic lung disease or something. They're not gonna give you disability. Okay. So but then your child needs help. There are children who have feeding problems. They have to be fed on NG tubes. And as a parent, you don't know how long the child is going to be off NG tubes. A provider or a childcare provider has to be able to operate the NG tube in order to feed the child, because that child is not feeding through the mouth. So that mother needs to be the one, put career aside, put all the degrees aside, and be the one to take care of their own child. And most of the time, women don't know how their bodies are going to react before childbirth. They don't. And so most of these women, they have difficulties pursuing some of their careers, and they feel like the best thing that they can do is to have their own thing. And that's why like jobs like Mary Kay started giving women opportunities and all of that. But some of these some of these hierarchy um side hustles like Mary Kay, it's not that easy to even get that pink car. It's not easy to get it. Okay, you can. It's not everybody who's able to sell the products the way they should sell it. People get into that business, and sometimes, I know the motto for Mary Kay is fake it until you make it. Okay, so you have to even buy the products before you sell it. So the products are not free to you. The seller is not free. So if the people who are taking the products do not pay you, or if you don't have the biggest capital to even buy the products, it means that's also another thing that you can't even do. So I'm just saying that women have to deal with a lot of stuff in order to keep their jobs and to keep their careers. One of the reasons why most women want their own businesses in America is because of more flexibility, more flexibility. Being your own boss. I mean, I don't know if you've ever worked in retail or any other, like a restaurant. If you have, I want you to join us. I want you to send us your input. And if you have anything that you want to talk about this topic, like I said, if you send us some input, we will send you a code and you can contribute live with us. Let's take a break right now. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Sandy J Show. So, as I was saying, one of the reasons is more flexibility, and we need flexibility as women for our families, for our children. And if you have a job whereby even 30 minutes break is a problem for a supervisor who is so inconsiderate, then you will need to do your own thing in order to be able to feed your family. You still need the money, you still have to be paid. I mean, the United States does not make it easy for women to pursue their careers and have children. It is not children friendly, seriously. So a lot of women right now, like I said, 83% of women want to actually get out of their jobs in order to have their own businesses. And out of that, 55% of women have side hustles. Okay, and currently 40% of women have left their jobs full time to start their own business. 40% of women in the United States have fully left their jobs to start their own businesses. And these are the reasons: more flexibility. So, what are companies going to do? Are they going to, kind of provide women some kind of incentive to make it easier for women to work and be more productive? Because in fact, if you're flexible, people are very productive. I mean, COVID has proved that we are very productive even when we work remotely. So companies need to look into some ways to help women and also give women the opportunities and promote them so that they can still pursue their careers and still do what they have to do for their families. No matter what we do, we need women in our homes. And the second thing is the ability to charge what they are worth. You know, most women have to stay in positions for years because they don't have a choice. And they know that where they are not being paid what they are worth. So but then they know that because they need the flexibility and they don't have that, they just keep quiet and they just stay in that position for as long as they can. So women looking at all of these things, at some point they feel like, you know what, I have to do my own thing. But anyway, we're going to continue this topic, and I'm still going to bring on some women entrepreneurs in our next show on Monday. I'm going to try to bring on some women entrepreneurs who are doing great, whose businesses are really doing amazing, who left their corporate after working for over 20 years, left their corporate, started businesses, and the businesses are doing very well. I know one person who started a wine company. I know somebody who started a spa. I mean, like, people are doing amazing. Women all over in the United States, most of them who started their own businesses are doing great. Some are into truck businesses, and we bring a few of the women on as we are permitted. But today, because of time, we would have to leave you. And I thank you so much for watching the Sandy J Show. And if you have anything you want to contribute, just inbox me and we'll bring you on. We'll send you a code and you can join us live. Thank you. I love you all. Have a good day.